When most people have a food idea, they picture themselves walking into Whole Foods, seeing the product on the shelf and, putting it in their shopping cart. What they don't picture is how do you actually make that product? And believe it or not, that decision can cost you, or I guess save you, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. So today I want to walk you through the 3 manufacturing options I see founders use most often and explain, which choice might be right for you. The first option is called cottage food. Basically, this is making your food at home. So it is probably the cheapest option. But there is a specific catch with this cottage food rule. Unfortunately, every state has their own and different cottage food laws. They only allow you to make certain food products, so often they wouldn't allow you to make refrigerated foods. And usually you can't take your product across state lines. So this is a great option if you're trying to test out your idea at a local farmer's market, but it's not really how you're going to end up at Costco. Now, for example, I live in the state of Wisconsin. Here, cottage food producers can sell certain non-potentially hazardous foods, so I'm talking about things like baked goods, jams, and candies directly to consumers. But here in Wisconsin, if you want to make something that requires refrigeration like hummus, you generally can't produce that under cottage food law. Before you get too far into developing your product, I would just Google your state's name plus cottage food law, or your state's name plus cottage food regulations. You'll usually find your state's Department of Health or Department of Agriculture's website, and this should really outline what is possible in your own state. Option 2 is called a commercial kitchen, and this is basically renting or paying for space in a licensed commercial kitchen. You might also hear these be called commissary kitchens or incubator kitchens, all the same thing. This is absolutely where a lot of food startups begin because you don't need to spend, thousands of dollars investing in your own equipment. Instead, you rent time at a kitchen that already has it. Here you can develop your formulation, you can make products legally, and begin selling at a larger scale. So it sounds pretty perfect, right? Well, almost. I just want to point out one thing that I think founders often forget about. You are paying for the kitchen, but you still probably have to pay for your own ingredients, your packaging, labels, and often some type of food safety training is required. It can start to add up quite quickly, but if you're still learning about your product, this is a good place to be. Eventually, if things go well and demand keeps increasing, it's not going to make sense for you to keep making your product yourself. Usually around this time, your extra bedroom or your garage has essentially been turned into a warehouse for your idea. And now you should go to a co-manufacturer. This is honestly the option that most people dream about. You get to hand off your formula to someone else and they make it for you. It sounds amazing, and it is, but I also see founders make just huge costly mistakes at this point. A lot of people think once you hire a co-manufacturer, like you're done. They're just gonna, make thousands of units for you, but it's often not that simple. In reality, you often have to negotiate when is your pilot runs, when do you get the line time, what type of quality or food safety testing will they do with your product or for your product. And I see this all the time during scale up. Often you have to do some reformulation or additional product development, on these large equipments at these large scales. Something is not working, which requires additional cost and additional time. Normal scaling up is just a beast when it comes to food and drinks. Now, I want to end with just one other big mistake I've seen startups do. Many founders think once you hire the co-manufacturer that the hard part is over. But that is almost always not true. The co-manufacturer's only job is to make your product. You, as the founder, have to make sure that your idea, your product is still high quality, is still the vision you had. Because your priorities as a founder can often be very different as the priorities your co-manufacturer has. Your co-man is probably simply looking at how to be efficient with the production line time, how to minimize downtime. And you as the founder should be focused on taste, flavor, quality of the final product. Is this something that's going to sell? What is your customer going to experience when they open that package? And again, sometimes these priorities don't completely align, which is why I almost always recommend as a founder, have an independent food scientist with you or your own product developer with you so that someone is there to make sure you're being heard or to see problems before they really become huge. That's what an independent food scientist can do. They can really be your advocate for the product, where the co-man is not necessarily and likely to not do that. And of course, if you're looking for an independent food scientist, a product developer, that is exactly what I do. Just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to work with you.